Alright guys, this way we have completed our two parts A and B, and now it's time to see your C part. In C part, the only difference is we have changed the evaluation method and said, read over here, paid semi-annually using 10% required rate of return. We have already calculated 10%, but what is he saying? Use 10% required rate of return but on semi-annual method. What is semi-annual? It is also called biannual. So biannual or semi-annual is one of the same thing. It means after every 6 months. Quarter means after every 3 months. There are 4 quarters in a year. After every month, so it would be 12. And when it is said after every biannual, it means after every 6 months. So there are two biannuals. Now what we will do, we have calculated our question with 10%. Already we have calculated, and we are in need to use the same thing. As you can see that we will erase it and we'll use the same formula for calculation of value of bond, but with the help of biannual or semi-annual. As earlier I had said you, if it is biannual, that means 6 months, so there will be two biannuals. And the things which we are going to change would be rate of interest, would be years, and required rate of return as well. Formula we will be using the same which we have used earlier. So here I'm taking the formula for C part. What I'm doing, C part and same formula I'm using over here. And we have again, let's take the copy and paste over here. It's not being pasted. Okay, change the place. We have this formula. And now the values. For values, what you will do, if your required rate is 10%, R is equal to 10%, but for semi-annually, this is per annum if we are consider it, and we will change it for semi-annual. If 10% is available for 12 months, how much rate of interest would be for 6 months? Some of you will come to know that if 10% is for 12 months, for 6 months, half rate of interest would be. So here you will have 5% instead of 10%. Rate has been changed. We are actually following semi-annually. Semi-annually is for 6 months. R is changed. N actual was 12 years. You can see 12 years is mentioned over here. But we are now following semi-annual. So you will change it for semi-annual. If 1 year is having two semi-annuals, after every 6 months, one biannual would be completed. So in a year there are two. Then how many biannuals would be in 12 years? That would be 24. If in single year there are two biannuals, then in 12 years there will be 24. So N is also being changed. And interest amount, what you do, you take face value and multiply it with the coupon rate. And now for interest calculation, face value will remain 1000, and you are going to multiply it with coupon interest rate. We can write over here instead of that. So face value would remain 1000 and you are going to multiply with coupon rate. Come over here, coupon rate was 8%. It was for whole year. So how much rate of interest you will be calculating for single year? So instead of 8%, that would be 4%. For whole year it is 8%. For 6 months it would be half. So you will be writing 4%. So this way all of three has been changed. And now let's calculate the amount of interest, 1000, and it would be multiplied by 4% mean 4 divided by 100 mean 0.04. So you have calculated rate of interest as well. And now next thing is I'm choosing all the calculations which have we already done, same formula we are using. We are going to change just the values according to semi-annually. All right. Now R is now be used as 5%. So instead of 10, we are changing it. 5% means 0.05. So put 0.5 over here. And instead of 12, what you will do, you have changed it n as 24. Put 24 over here. Go to the second part. Instead of 80, what you have done, here you have already calculated, but it is hidden. So we can increase one more row. So interest you have calculated was, and still it is not seen. Let's have another row. Okay, we can calculate it again. That was 1000 multiplied by 0.04. So amount of interest you have calculated is 40. So come in the formula. Here we were changing everything, and now instead of 80 we were supposed to write interest over here. Interest we have calculated 40, rate was 8%, but for biannual we have changed rate as 4%. 40 is the amount of interest. Come back, instead of 10% we have changed rate from 10% to 5%. So we are going to change it 0.5. Second part is changed. Let's see the third part. In third part again we do have 10% as rate of interest. You can see over R. R was 10%, okay, but for semi-annually it is 5%. Change it as 0.05 single decimal, and N is also being changed. Instead of 12 it will be used 24. Alright, formula is completed, and now for calculation on calculator we will use the same mathematical statement with a twist of changing the values. We are putting it over here. Now come, the very first thing, we had written 10%, and you know that instead of 10% we will use 5% for semi-annually. We are going to change it as 0.5. First change has been made. Secondly, please be attentive, it was 12, n was 12 years. Instead of 12 years you will write 24 biannuals and raised to power 24 biannuals. And you have understood over here n was 12 years, but instead of 12 years you have changed it to 24 biannuals. So in our formula, what we have done, instead of 10% you have changed 5%. Instead of 12 years you have write 24 biannuals. Amount of interest we have changed, instead of 80 it would be 40, because we are working for 6 months, half year. For full year 80, for half year it is 40. 10% was for full years. We are going to change it and we'll write 0.05. All right. And next is again 1 over 1 plus R. R we have changed from 10% to 5%. Years we have changed from 12 to 24. So please take a screenshot over here. This is your formula. This is your mathematical statement you have put, and this way you have got your answer. Please take screenshot and read it very carefully. 1000 was same, instead of 10% you have taken 5%. 10% was for full year, for 6 months 5. 12 years, in each year there are two biannuals, so in 12 years there will be 24. 80 was the interest you have calculated for full year. For 6 months it would be 40. 10% was the rate of interest for full year, required rate of return. So instead of 10 for 6 months it would be 5, same 5, and n which was 12 years, and for biannual we have written 24. This is your answer for C part. 10% required rate of return if semi-annual is used. Hopefully you people have understood. This is your C part which we have completed, and above you can see it is 3 options of A part. 1, 2, 3 answers are written over here. 1000 is the answer of second part, 863 answer of third part, and this is 1079 for first part. For B part, you have to write if value is more than 1000, it would be value of bond at premium. If value is equal, it is value at par. If market value or sale value is less than 1000, we will call it at discount. This was our B requirement. We have seen over here, and in C, we have just changed the rate according to semi-annually, and we have got this answer. So hopefully you have understood the whole scenario, whole question. I'm very hopeful that you will be competent in calculation of value of bond. Thank you for your time, and if you have any query, you can message, text, or contact directly. We will see you soon again for the solution of any other question. And this is what we have solved was 6.1, and hopefully we will meet again for solution of 6.2. Up till then, please take care, and I'm requesting you to please pray for me as well. Thank you very much for your time. Allah Hafiz.